Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Raeofsunshyne here, back with another video. Today, I'm sorry you guys won't be able to see my face because I'm a little bit under the weather, but don't worry, I'm sure I'll be feeling much better for the next part of this episode. Today we are doing Fragaria Memory, Blue Bouquet, episode 4, part 1. And it looks like today we will be traveling to the Cinnarol kingdom. So this is where Cialamot is the knight, and we should be able to get some interesting information from him and the kingdom if nothing doesn't go awry with the seeds, which I'm sure it will, because most of the time that's when the seeds decide to occur, when they travel to these different kingdoms. But as we know, Cialamort is one of the few that pretty much know a lot of what is going on with a lot of the different kingdoms and the seeds in general. So we will see if he spills any more new information about what is going on with all of that and the best way to stop it. So without further ado, let's jump into the video.
朝の鍛錬終了。城の庭園を視察中。いや、こんな些細なこと報告されても困るよな。でも、王国を出てからろくに連絡できてねえし。何か書くこと。静かすぎて落ち着かないな。いつの間にか騒がしい国に慣れちまってたんだな。
It is surprisingly a lot more quiet here, as it looks like they're in a more of a garden-like setting. As you can see, like the little Trevi fountain in the back, and it looks more tranquil. But as we know, quiet also means there's probably going to be more trouble brewing later.
これ、うちの庭に咲いてた花だ。久しぶりに見た。おはよう、クロード君。シエラモートと。おはよう。はよ。ずいぶん早起きなんだね。何をしてたの？別に。朝の鍛錬を済ませて、ぷらついてた。毎日こんなに早いの？偉いね。僕はまだ眠たいよ。はあ。シエロ、そろそろ行かないと。ん？そうだ、ウィル。クロード君に王国を案内してあげてくれないかな。は？だってクロード君、まだお城の周りしか見てないでしょ？僕が忙しくさせてしまっているから。そうだけど。俺は構わないよ。え？ありがとう。ウィルの案内なら信頼できるからね。だから、俺は。クロード君、僕は君に、僕の大切なシナモロール王国を、ちゃんと見てほしいんだ。わかったよ。よかった。二人とも楽しんで。
Korod, for some reason, seems very hesitant to go around and, kind of explore the cinnamon roll kingdom. I think he feels a little bit hesitant because he doesn't know what's going to happen, and he feels like a sense of like unusual, I don't know, presence being there. Like it just seems a little bit too quiet, and it's kind of unsettling for him because he's not used to that. He's used to something happening, some everyone being loud and it just being more lively. Here it seems just very unusually quiet, which I can understand. But and he's also trying to make sure that he keeps himself up to date on everything far as his tasks and roles that he needs to complete, not only given by Cielo Mope, but also his own nightly duties as well.
フラガリアメモリーズ。 ミュンナ、何度目のため息かな。
ルタールさんたちの前ですみません。ついクロードさんもウィルメッシュさんもあれから全然お話ししなくなっちゃって。
無理もないよ。ウィルメッシュのことは僕たちだって驚いた。
一緒に騎士として仕事をしてたクロードさんならなおさらですよね。
そう思うよ。同じロードを守る同志だと思っていた相手が実は別の国のフラガリアで、しかも強引で何を考えているかさっぱりわかんないシエロモートと繋がってたでしょ。
Not them saying Silmo being slippery as an ill, and he won't take no for an answer. I mean, he's just wanting to make sure that he's upholding his duty to make sure that everyone comes together and form this alliance so that can be a little bit easier for everyone. I mean, yeah, it makes other people, the other knights, kind of feel uncomfortable and they're trying to do things on their own terms. But ultimately, I'm just assuming that he just wants things to be more cohesively put together.
僕ならお話ししないどころか絶交する。
クラークさん。
食らったら一度誰かを信じた気持ちはそう簡単に消せないこと、本当は分かっているでしょ。そうだけど、俺はウィルメッシュ君は思慮深い人だと思う。彼なりの理由や覚悟があってしたことなんじゃないかな。ルタが言うならそういうことにしとく。
シエロモートさんたちのやり方は、いえ、ミュンナ、コギミュン様の国を守ってくれる同盟は偉大なものだと思ってますし、シエロモートさんのことも信じてます。でも
フラガリア同士の心が離れてしまうのは悲しいね。
はい、ずっと考えてるんです。ミュンナにできることはないか。
あの二人のために。
I mean, I can understand Miana's point. He wants to make sure that everyone is getting along with each other and that they're not at odds, because ultimately it's just going to make things more difficult if, you have people that are bickering or they're not on this, getting along with each other. And, even though I know they all have their own ideals that they want to express and they want to do things a bit differently from one another, ultimately I feel like they can still listen to each other and be on that same page where they can be like, okay, we have different ways that we want to go about this, but let's kind of see if we can bring both of those ideals together to make it better for both of them. So yeah, I understand him wanting to try to do what he can to make things work out so it can be a more friendlier engagement between two people versus one or the other's opinion.
お二人がもし今のままじゃ嫌だと思ってるなら。
そうだね。
でもどうすればいいのか。
俺なら仲直りのパンケーキを焼くかな。
パンケーキですか？
そうするとクラとの喧嘩が終わるんだ。ちょっとルタ、僕たち喧嘩なんかしないじゃない。そうなの？じゃあこの間クラがもう知らないって部屋に閉じこもったのは喧嘩じゃなかったんだね。あれはルタが僕の服を洗濯するって聞かないから。だってイチゴジュースのシミは早く洗わないと大変だよ。あの日はルタは大事な占いをして疲れてたじゃない。だからゆっくり休んでて欲しかったんだよ。
パンケーキで仲直りできたんですか？
キッチンでパンケーキをたくさん焼いて、たっぷりのシロップとホイップクリームを用意してそうしているうちにいつの間にかクラが来てたよ。
See, just need the power pancakes. They can bring everyone together because it's just so good. If that were the case, then imagine that. just having food or something delicious bringing people together. I mean, it does in certain instances, and then in other instances, not so much. But yeah, that's a wonderful way to think about it. Like certain things are meant to bring people together, and I think that is the whole premise of it. Is like no matter how differently you guys see things, there should be something that still brings you together and still allows you to interact with each other without any hostility or anything else like that. And food is supposed to do that. Just there's so many things that are supposed to do that, but doesn't necessarily have that effect. And I wish it did more. Like this, like pancakes.
僕にも悪いところがあったから謝ろうと思っただけ。パンケーキに釣られたわけじゃないよ。だってルタのパンケーキはいつだって食べたいもの。
まさに仲直りのパンケーキですね。
だから喧嘩したわけじゃないから仲直りでもないって。
よーし、みんな決めました。パンケーキパーティーを開いてクロードさんとベルメッシさんをご招待します。
手伝うよ。山ほどのパンケーキを一緒に焼こう。
ありがとうございます。
じゃあルタの作業が簡単になるような装置を作るよ。2セットあればいい？
みんなにも作っていただけるんですか？ありがとうございます。楽しみです。
言っとくけどルタに気を使わせたくないだけだから。
ありがとう、クラ。
I just love the energy between these two twins. Like, even though yes, they are very different in certain aspects, they still want to make sure they take care of each other and that they're not being overwhelmed by a certain task. And I think that is ultimately the whole point of them being star twins and them trying to align themselves with each other. And I think that it's a really great idea that Miona suggested them having a pancake party. Maybe it will lighten the mood for things and just, for everyone to feel more refreshed and to, have that time to eat and conversate and get along with each other and kind of talk about the things that have been going on lately and to see if they can find a better solution amongst all of them.
ここが市場だよ。主な品物はシナモロール王国産のコーヒー豆や砂糖菓子、それから空色をした様々なもの。
見たらわかる。
この先の通りはお菓子屋さんが多くて、シエロとシナモン様のお気に入りの店もある。
へえ。
シナモロール王国の特産品を他にあげるなら、スパイスや。
そんな説明書みたいに喋らなくてもいいだろ。
そんなつもりはなかったけど。ならただ見てもらった方がいい。はぐれないようについてきて。
分かったよ。
いらっしゃいませ。今日のパンは特別ふわふわですよ。
くださいな。家族が楽しみに待ってるの。おはようございます。お花を届けに来ました。
いつもありがとう。おかげでお客様に喜んでもらえてるよ。
穏やかだな。
え？
なんでもね。
この国の人たちが平穏に暮らしているのはシエロとシナモン様の尽力の賜物。君が感じたこと後でシエロにも伝えてあげて。
なんでそんな指図を受けなきゃいけないんだよ。
Okay, Kuroda's being a little bit, standoffish. Why should he take orders from Wellmish? It's not necessarily, Wellmish is just trying to suggest to you, Kuroda. It's not like he's necessarily giving you orders. Chill a bit. He's so not used to everything being so peaceful and people complimenting each other and just, getting along with each other without any animosity or any like backhanded words being said. But I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, right? Every kingdom is supposed to experience their own sense of peace and people going about everyday life in a sense where they can get along with each other and just do what they feel makes them happy. And when you're not used to something like that, it can be a little bit like off-putting for you, but that's ultimately the whole goal, right? Is to find that unity and peace amongst, each kingdom. And no matter where you go, there shouldn't be, this sense of uneasiness or, y'all know what I'm trying to say.
指図なんかじゃないよ。
お兄さん、よそから来た人だよね。ようこそシナモロール王国へ。はい、お花。
いや、俺は。
今朝咲いたばかりの花だよ。飾るとお部屋がパッと明るくなるよ。
じゃあもらっとこうかな。サンキュー。
どういたしまして。
お前の言う通り部屋が明るくなりそうな花だな。いい匂いもする。
クロード君って綺麗なものが好きなんだね。
案外そうかもな。で、俺の好みなんてお前に関係ねえだろ。我、お前に言ったわけじゃないんだ。
大丈夫だよ。大きな声にちょっと驚いてしまったんだよね。彼は君に怒ったわけじゃない。そんなことはしないよ。優しい人だから。
おい、勝手に何言ってんだよ。いや。
See how that just like occurred? Karod, his voice is kind of a little bit off-putting for the child because he's not used to hearing that sense of tone. He's used to that calm, very sense of, peaceful way of talking and just talking in a more brighter way. But Karod, he's, like I said, he's not used to that. So his tone of voice changes and he can talk a little bit of a higher tone than what other people may be used to. And I like how Wilmish kind of stepped in to reassure the little kid that like, hey, he's not from here. He kind of, talks in a more higher tone. Don't worry, he's not mad at you. Trying to reassure the kid. Although Kuroda is making it not seem as believable. But I'm sure with time of being there, he'll kind of understand that, everything doesn't take a certain way of expressing it the way that he does, but that's the whole point of them going to these different kingdoms and seeing how things are done and how people interact with each other. It's of course it's going to be different from someone coming from one kingdom and they're used to being more talking more heavily and more loud and more rambunctious compared to something that's more peaceful. They talk very, I wouldn't say monotone. They talk more lighter, maybe.
なあ、この花を長く咲かせるにはどうしたらいい？普段花なんか飾らねえからさ。ほら、なんかあるんだろ？枯らさないコツみたいなの。
あるよ。毎日水を入れ替えて、その時花瓶もきれいに洗ってあげるの。
わかった、そうする。
ありがとう兄さん。お花のことを考えてくれて。
ほらね、怖くないでしょ。ちょっとぶっきらぼうに感じるかもしれないけど、まっすぐで思いやりのある人だよ。
今度はうちのお店に来てね。
See, that was a very nice interaction. Of course, it kind of started off kind of rocky, but, if they got to that point where, okay, Koro kind of like, toned it down a bit, and it helped reassure the kid. And he's like, he was a little kid, was a little hesitant at first, but he opened up and saw that, okay, maybe he does want to know about these flowers, and I'm just gonna tell him. And that interaction was very cute because it helped Kurode feel like, okay, you know what, sometimes it's just easier just to express it in a more natural and, toned down way, especially speaking with a little kid. And you saw at the end, everyone was happy and it all worked out.
バイバイ。
じゃあな。バイバイ。クロード君、
人のこと大げさに褒めすぎだろ。子供を泣き止ませるためだとしてもさ。
俺は思ったことを伝えただけだよ。本当のことしか言っていないつもり。
本当のことしか
もう一度信頼してもらうのは難しいと分かってる。けど俺は君に嘘を言ったことはないよ。
ただし本当のことを全部言ってはいない。少なくともこれまでは。
うん。
I mean, I get it. Wellmish did not tell you everything, but sometimes you gotta hold some stuff back in order for it to work out later. I mean, yes, he was telling a bit of a half-truth. I mean, yeah, I can understand Kurode feeling like, okay, I was basically telling you everything, but you weren't telling me everything in the end, and I had to learn it in a way that is just like, really? But in the end, I mean, you still found out. It might not have been the way that you'd hoped to find out, but they're just doing their best to kind of hold things together out of everything that's been going on. So, I'm sure there are still some things Kurode has like hidden to himself that he's just not going to openly tell everything. Like, people keep bits and pieces of things hidden until they feel like it's the right time to speak on it. And it also has to do with Cielamo, basically probably telling him, okay, you know what? You could say this, but kind of leave a little bit of that out, and we'll leave that for later because that's not what's important right now. What you need to do is just say this and that, and then we'll get to that. And just like he was just saying right now, just because it was on Cielamo's order. So, kind of his hands were tied. I mean, yeah, he could have spilled it and said something, but he feels like, he has loyalty to Cielamo too. So that's where that half-truth comes in.
なんでそこまでする？いくらシエロモードの命令だからって。
シエロは俺に命じはしない。ロードを守るため、ひいてはこの世界を守るため、シエロの計画が必要だと俺が思ったんだ。
See, and he just said that Cielamo actually didn't even ask him to keep anything. He was just doing it on behalf of protecting his lord and making sure that Cielamo's plan was going to go more according to how they had it already worked out. Because let's say he did spill something and then the plan kind of got obscured, and yeah. So believing in something is one thing, and then just telling someone something is another.
悪い。俺は城に戻る。一人で考えたい。
わかった。
くそ。俺ばっかりジタバタして。情けねえ。お、黒身からだ。クロード、あんたたまには連絡くらいよこしな。だよな。そう来るよな。ああ、ダメだ。うまく書けねえ。
It's not about whether it sounds good. It's just like checking up on your lord and make Kuromi, making sure that everything's good. It doesn't have to be anything that's like well written. I'm sure Kuromi would have no problem just having you write her and be like, okay, well, or how are things going? Is what's going on over there? How are you enjoying the kingdom? What have you been up to so far? Is everything going good over there? Just, it could be small talk and then that'll be better than not saying anything at all.
でも、黒ミ王国での仕事を放り出すことになった俺を、黒ミはちゃんと送り出してくれた。俺はこっちで何とかやってるって報告すべきだ。ミルメッシュのことも、俺からちゃんと説明しなきゃ。黒ミはまだ、全部は知らないはずだから。違うな。どう書いてもしっくりこねえ。いや、こんな長文メッセージ気持ち悪くないか。どんだけスクロールするんだよ。いきなりこんなの届いたら、さすがの黒みも引くだろ。ああ、もう、削除だ、削除。何か、伝えたいのにな。お。
ミュナです。
どうぞ、入ってくれ。
Maybe Miona will give you a little bit of inspiration on what you can write Kuromi, so it doesn't feel like you're being so forced to say something in a certain way.
失礼しますね。
どうした？
この後のおやつの時間、過ごし方は決まってますか？
いや、特には。
でしたら、パンケーキパーティーに参加しませんか？はい、招待状です。
パンケーキパーティー？ルタールが焼くとかか？
ご名答です。ミュンナもお手伝い中でして、せっかくなので皆さんにお声掛けしてるところなんです。
皆さんってことはミルメッシュも来るんだな。
クロードさん、来てくれますか？
You better not say no to Miona. Like, come on. It's just a pancake party. You don't really have to talk to Whelmish. I mean, it would be nice if you did and kind of like clear the air more. But, I mean, you're really gonna turn down a pancake party? Come on, let's be for real.
この招待状、ミュンナが書いたのか？
はい、心を込めて書きました。あんまり上手な字じゃないですが。
いや、俺よりずっと上手だよ。
それでどうでしょうか？ご参加いただけますか？
ミュンナの字、俺のことやみんなのこと、すごく考えて書いたのがわかる。不思議だけど、文字を見てるだけで感じる。行くよ。
ありがとうございます。それじゃあお待ちしてますね。また後ほど。
あ。
I'm glad that Kuro just went ahead and decided to go. I think it'll be better than what he's hoping it will be, and I'm sure that he will learn some, information that is going to be more beneficial to him versus him feeling like, okay, he was lied to and that people are keeping things from him. I think that this will be a pivotal point in them learning more about some of the secrets that were kept for the purpose of bettering the kingdoms.
クロードさん、いらっしゃい。
招待サンキュー。すごい量のパンケーキだな。まさにパンケーキパーティーって感じだ。
どうぞ座って。トッピングもたくさん用意したから口に合うといいな。おすすめは リトルツインスターズ王国で今朝取れたばかりのベリー。
ルタのパンケーキが山積みなんて、なんて贅沢なんだろう。
コーヒーもいろんな種類を揃えてみたよ。ミルクを入れるならこの豆、ブラックならこっちの豆。
クロード君、メープルシロップをかけると美味しいよ。はい、使ってみて。
おう。
そのシロップ、ウィルメッシュ君の私物なんだよね。みんなに使ってほしいって持ってきてくれたんだ。
ウィッシュミーメル王国の森で採れる特別なメープルシロップだよ。
そんなもの使っていいのか。
Come on, Kurode. He wouldn't have brought it if it wasn't for y'all to use. He wants you guys to try it because he feels like it represents not only him, but the kingdom. And just, he wants to be able to express and share that with y'all. Just as the other ones are trying to express themselves by showing something that represents their kingdom. Like the twin stars making the pancakes and the toppings and the berries and stuff like that. Everyone's just trying to include some parts of themselves and their kingdom so that everyone can cohesively enjoy it. And Kurode is probably going to feel like, okay, well, I didn't bring anything, but sure, guess I'll try what you guys brought, because I don't know what Kurode could bring.
口に合うといいけど。ミュンナ君もよかったらどうぞ。
ありがとうございます。いただきます。おいしい。小麦の香りのパンケーキも上品な甘さのメープルシロップもとっても美味しいです。
よかった。
ルタのパンケーキが美味しくないわけないからね。僕もいただこうっと。ねえクロード、なんでさっきからパンケーキを睨んでるわけ？いらないならもらうけど。
いや、食べる。いただきます。
どう？
Well, those are probably the best pancakes that Kurode has ever tasted in his life. And he's probably just so stunned that he's like, oh my gosh, I wish I've had these pancakes my whole life.
うまい。パンケーキももちろんうまいし、メープルシロップが今まで食ったことないくらいうまい。
よかった。
トッピングのベリーもふわふわの生クリームも本当に美味しい。どの味も喧嘩をしないで仲良しだ。僕
I think that's the point. To bring everything together.
こういうの大好きだよ。
ウィルメッシュ君、俺もメープルシロップをもらっていい？
もちろん。いっぱいあるからみんなで使って。その方がシロップも喜ぶ。
じゃあ遠慮なく。
なんか俺だけがモヤモヤ隠せてないよな。みんな大人だ。空気を変えようとこんなパーティーを開いてくれて。ウィルメッシュも俺みたいに変な意地を張ったりしてない。
Because in a situation like this, it's better to just put your differences aside and try to get along and try to act normal and bring some sense of peace, because it's not helping anyone by holding on to a grudge or holding on to someone not saying certain things at a certain time. You know, you have to work past that and move forward, because if you don't, then you're not going to be able to rely on each other in the future or trust each other enough to, you know, to bring about a better change and to bring about a better, maybe developing a better friendship between y'all two, or just in everyone in general.
みんな、甘いものの後には口直しが欲しいよね。ちゃんと用意したよ。 黒実王国の名物。
黒実王国の名物って何？
ミュンナの記憶が正しければパリパリラッキョウです。
パンケーキの口直しにパリパリラッキョウ。
お祭りで見かけてからずっと食べてみたかったんだ。一つ味見をしてみるね。いただきます。
I don't know how well that would be after just eating pancakes, which is more sweet, and then you go right into some pickles that are more like sour and pungent. Like, ew, yeah, I don't know. He's probably gonna say it's good either way, but that I would not do that. No.
パンケーキとコーヒーに合うか？
少し変わった風味のピクルスだね。美味しい。
俺ももらおう。
ミュンナもいただきます。
おい、無理すんなよ。黒実王国の奴らだって甘いものと一緒には食わないと思うぜ。
Imagine the stomach ache they are going to feel after eating pancakes, coffee, and pickles. Yeah, that they should just save that for later. I'm sorry. Because that is clashing so much so. And just, yeah, my stomach would be in doing flips and all kinds of things after eating both of those together.
俺ももらっていい？
それはもちろん。
僕はパス。野菜好きじゃないし。
クーラー、好き嫌いはダメだよ。
このらっきょうは本当に美味しいから、野菜が苦手な人も食べられるんじゃないかな。
I think he's just trying to save his stomach. I kind of feel like, yeah, he may not like vegetables, but it's also an excuse to not have to eat that right after just having pancakes.
そういうの本当大きな誤解だから。苦手だから苦手って言ってるの。もうルタ。
やっぱりお片付けまでがパーティーですよね。
このお皿は
ここに重ねてくれる？まとめて運ぶから。
僕が持つよ、ルタ。
ウィルメッシュ、今ちょっといいか？
クロード君。
話があるんだ。
うん。俺も君と話したいと思ってた。
I really hope it's to like clear the air and kind of, you know, for Kuroda, I feel like he's going to express that maybe he was going about it too harsh and he was acting a little bit like out of pocket about Wilmish not telling him fully about his identity and everything that was going on. And I feel like Wilmish is going to express like, you know, being sorry that he didn't say anything sooner, but he felt like it was his duty to kind of withhold certain things. So I feel like they're both going to be, you know, kind of apologizing for their own actions. And hopefully they will come to a sense of agreement and understanding that it was just certain ways that they're used to doing certain things that they just didn't agree with each other on this. But yes, I'm sure that a lot more is going to come out in the next part. And I hope that, you know, they can become better friends and be more reliant on each other, and that this doesn't continue to be something that is in between the middle of them that keep them from, you know, working better together. If you know what I'm trying to say. My mind's kind of like all over the place right now, so excuse me. But I hope you guys liked my reaction, and I'm going to be posting the next part soon, so we'll see how that goes. And now that I am done with Gray Sheep and I don't have another voice drama right now, I am going to be moving on to another one in between my Fragaria memory reactions, so stay tuned for that. Yes. So if you guys like my reactions, please make sure you subscribe, comment, share, like. I do right back to all my comments. And my sunshines, I hope that you guys continue to spread your love, light, and positivity out into the world as we need more of it. And I love y'all, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.